So, hello, my name is Taron, and this is second episode of See You in VR, actually. So, super excited to have our guest Alon Grinshpoon. Alon, oh, you went there?
Yes, I had teleported. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm back.
cool. Yeah.
How's it going?
Hold on, let me.
Oh, love it. Oh, that's amazing. Worked hard.
So, Alon, do I say it right, Alon?
Yep.
And Grinshpoon?
You got it, man.
Okay, awesome. Let me put this behind you.
Yes. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so at least we'll have
Love
a
it.
face there. Okay,
This is perfect.
awesome. So Alan is the founder of Echo AR, now Echo 3D, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep. Just rebranded last week.
oops. Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. One sec. Let me. Sorry, in the beginning, it's so we have
Yeah, I think
memories
that
where
okay.
you like uh, upload it on the web and you take it out, kind of like from Harry Potter.
Like a
Have you watched
sword.
Harry
Yeah,
Potter?
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm a big
it's
Harry
kind of like
Potter
the
nerd.
yeah,
Like
hey,
swimming with the
hell yeah.
wand. Yeah, that's very
So it's
cool.
kind of like the pensive Dumbledore's memory
Yeah.
when you push it in. Hold on, let me push it from here.
That's
Let me.
awesome.
So, um, Alan is the founder and CEO of Echo 3D. Alan, I got this your bio from your LinkedIn. It was written well. So is it okay if I use this or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So Alon is a big believer in augmented and virtual reality and is working on building the world's best 3D first content management system, CMS, and delivery network, CDN, to help companies scale their AR, VR solutions. Alon is a Java native speaker with countless hours of programming in Java, Android, Unity, C Sharp, C, and Bash. Oh, Bash. Alon loves to create AR, VR apps, GUI, and graphically designed applications, open source programs, and API integration, alongside his experience and passion for cloud and computer communication networks. Dude, that's awesome. uh, Alon received his master's in computer science from Columbia University's School of Engineering, specializing in computer graphics, virtual and augmented reality, and human-computer interaction. Hell yeah. Alon wrote his thesis on augmented reality guidance system for endovascular surgery devised by Professor Stephen K. Feiner. And Alon received his bachelor's as a double major in CS and EE from Tel Aviv University, specializing in software engineering, computer communication networks, and cybersecurity. That's awesome. I did think. Oh no, I did EE and math. Um,
Cool. Fellow nerd then. Nerds and
yeah,
certified. Love it.
hell yeah. And last part, during his studies, Alon served as a graduate researcher at the Computer Graphics and User Interface Laboratory of Columbia University. Alon also has served as a research assistant and teaching assistant in the fields of computer networks and distributed cloud networks. Dude, this is awesome. I love having you here.
Thank you. Thank you for giving kind of a quick rundown of my bio. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
and a fellow Techstars.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Dexter is the best.
yeah, yeah. When did you graduate?
We were class 158. We graduated 2 years ago. I think we
Two
were
years ago.
2019. So 2 years ago,
Okay.
something like that.
Which city?
We were Techstars Anywhere, kind of the OG
Okay,
remote accelerator, and we flew, to Colorado, and we flew to LA and to New York as well, but we're based in New York.
that's awesome, man. So you're based in New York. You're so originally from Israel, yeah?
Yeah, I was born there, Israeli American, and then moved to the States, did my master's at Columbia, and then founded the company 3 years ago here in New York City. It's been a wild ride so far, but this is definitely a good place to build a 3D AR/VR company.
Yeah, actually, for some reason, New York seems the best place for it. Why?
I think there's so many people here. Just the sheer amount of people in New York and the density of the population basically means that things like Pokemon Go could succeed, right? People are running around and kind of interacting with each other. Or I think a lot of kind of consumer hardware is again big in highly dense populations. So stuff like the Oculus Quest sells out like
Mm-hmm.
hotcakes. So I definitely think that the coast, or specifically New York, is a really really good space for AR VR. And I think also maybe should mention City Hall kind of basically kind of forked up $3 million to build a really cool AR VR space in the Brooklyn Navy Yard called R Lab. So there's also kind of support through the community and kind
Oh,
of the municipalities when it comes to AR VR.
that's a city-sponsored thing, yeah? City-supported.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Um, think when you how long have you been in the like VR AR game before this?
So my first encounter was back in, I think it was 2016. So I graduated my undergrad. Everything I worked on was cloud and network infrastructure and all the invisible stuff. And then I went to the Microsoft store on Fifth Avenue here in New York, and I tried
Mm-hmm.
the HTC Vive for the first time, and then my life was literally changed. I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. You can, I think I tried Tilt Approach or something like that, and I was able to kind of
Yeah.
fire bend. It was like unbelievable. And then I was like, okay, this is amazing. This is the future. I need to be a part of it. And literally because of that, I kind of, I applied to Columbia and specifically targeted the AR VR lab there, and kind of went to Professor Stephen Feiner to kind of, I'm going to do my thesis with you. Like, I need to be a part of this. And it kind of, and then that journey begins for me from kind of knowing nothing about 3D AR VR to building a company in New York that's all focused about 3D content and 3D content delivery.
Wow. Think what's it called? I forgot the question. One sec. So
All
I
good.
think you guys recently got funding, right, for it?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
congrats
Amazing
on that.
investors.
I saw the like the for 4 million in funding seed.
Yep, yep. It was announced in VentureBeat exclusively. So shout out to Dean Takahashi for kind of picking up that
Oh, Dean
story.
Takahashi. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's such a good writer. Yeah.
Yeah, he is, and such a big supporter of kind of the immersive AR VR 3D space. And I think in general, I mean, what we're seeing in the last couple of kind of years, or even in the last couple of weeks, you're seeing so much innovation in our space. It's from hardware to software to companies like ours. We're trying to connect hardware and software together through the cloud. So I think again, just kind of good times to be in the world of 3D.
Yeah, I think you guys got it in a really good time because earlier it was a little harder to do. I remember we did Techstars in 2017 with a company
Mm-hmm.
called Rodan. We were doing like um, full on like library for building VR AR apps
Yep.
or mostly VR
Mm-hmm.
where you could use the library and it was like aimed towards web developers. So all you had to know was JavaScript,
Love it.
no like Unity and stuff. And then we would package it as a as a browser, which you could download as a
Yep.
native Oculus or HTC app, and then push it to the appropriate headset, and then change the build from web.
Love it.
Um, but that was too early. Like I don't know. Like it's and then like Amazon. Do you remember Amazon Sumerian? Have you
Yeah, yeah,
heard of
yeah.
it?
I think it's still
Yeah,
around, even though I don't know if it's getting a lot of traction. But again,
it's
another
not.
like Samir. Yeah, I mean, I think Samir and
Yeah,
again and Amazon and like all these big companies, like they're trying to compete with companies like Unity or Unreal, providing some browser-based game engine. I wish everyone all the best. I mean, the more game engines we have, the more platforms we have to
yeah,
create 3D, the better. Developers will kind of choose whatever works for them, and I think our vision at Echo of kind of trying to connect all of these platforms, all of these game engines is kind of core to what we do. Our Techstars journey was also kind of really cool. Like they were kind of the first to invest in the company. And then we got grants from Y Combinator and NYC Media Lab and Verizon. So that was obviously really, really cool. And then Reimagine Ventures invested in the company. They're amazing, and they kind of fully believe in the world of 3D content and kind of that kind of evolution of content as well. And recently, like you said, that we just kind of closed a new round with Convoy Ventures, Space Capital, and Reimagine that kind of reinvested in, and we got angels from Datadog and GitHub. So I think we have this kind of really, really cool collection of people who are big believers in 3D content, big believers in the kind of prospects of the AR/VR space, and kind of the sentiment that you said, like that back in the day it felt too early. I think now it's definitely the
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, look at us. We're sitting in literally VR talking to each other. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like, you would tell them that we're gonna be here, I don't know, 5 years ago, people were like, there's no way, and here we are. If you would say that every person would have a AR device in their pocket, people, I don't know if they would believe that, but like, this is the status quo today. So again, or game engines, like, IPOing, or you need the new social networks
Yeah,
becoming
yeah,
3D
yeah, yeah,
environments
yeah.
like Roblox and Fortnite. So I'm obviously a big believer in 3D content. I think that's definitely the present and future. And the last thing I'll say is that if you think about like generations of people who are younger than you and me, they're fully immersed in 3D environments all the time. They don't
Mm.
do kind of 2D interfaces, right? It's not like they're scrolling a feed. They're going to Fortnite, they're going to Roblox, they're going to camera first applications like TikTok and Snapchat. And for all of these, the connecting thread is 3D content.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, you guys chose a nice area here. I grabbed this from your
Oh, love
slide.
it. Dude, I
Yeah.
love how you inject those graphics. That's amazing.
Hold on, yeah. Uh, this- can you tell me a little, like, just quick? I know we went in tangents, like you talked a little about like Echo 3D, but just from like
Yeah,
for a
definitely.
beginner.
Yeah, so Echo is a cloud platform for 3D applications, which basically means that we provide tools and network infrastructure for companies and developers who want to build games, AR/VR experience, and any 3D application that you can imagine. Very similar to if you're building a website and you're storing images and videos on some remote cloud. With Echo, you can store 3D models, animations, and interactive content, and then stream that to mobile devices and headsets and web browsers and game engines all over the world. Our vision here is to kind of be that AWS for 3D or Akamai for 3D, the
Mm.
go-to kind of cloud solution for 3D content, and really allowing you to change content really, really rapidly from the cloud. So for imagine, I'm sitting on this virtual couch right now and it's red or orange. If I want to change the texture to green, what do I do? I probably need to go back to the development team. I have to
Yeah.
kind of rebuild the application, republish it. Why? Like, we don't expect a web developer to kind of work every time we need to update a blog post. We just drag and drop an image or video, suddenly that updates. So our vision is to basically allow that, and that's what basically Echo allows you to do. You can integrate into your application. Then if you want to change the color of a couch, you can do that with one click. If you want to change the table to a chair, you can do that with one click. You want to change a video, you can just drag and drop a new video. Suddenly it changes automatically remotely from the cloud. So we kind of see content
That's
management
beautiful.
as kind of
Yeah.
a key thing for the next experiences that people will build.
Are you thinking about like whole environments as well, or just objects in environments?
Yeah, 100%. So we had users when the new iPhones was released, like a LiDAR scanner. We had power users that basically scanned entire rooms, upload them to Echo. Our system automatically kind of converted and compressed those environments, and bam, you're able to kind of stream them literally in a matter of seconds, which was an amazing, amazing stress test to our system. But also we do want to, I mean, not only allow you to have like a full environment control, but also allow you to have that granulated kind of switch between content. Again, I want to change just the couch. I want to change just the camera. I just want to
Mm,
change just
mm,
the table. So even in the big environment, Echo gives you that kind of granulated control on content kind of really, really easily.
management. Yeah. Actually, I loaded up. Let's go here. I loaded your
Oh, that's awesome.
dashboard. Um,
Dude, this is
so
phenomenal. I love the space that you've built here, and I love seeing Echo
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
splattered
yeah.
everywhere. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. coming from like a fellow magician, and it means a lot.
No, you did phenomenal work here. This is really, really unbelievable.
Yay, thank you. So this is thing. Uh, that means a lot. Thanks again. Yeah. Um, team will love it too. So this is the dashboard. You basically are able to just add 3D content, right? And
Exactly. You can
then
add images, videos, 3D content in any format. So, for example, this Fox that you're seeing right now originally is an OBJ file, but automatically, like when you click download, you can see that our system already converted that to GLB, USDZ. So
that's
as a
so nice,
developer,
man.
you're kind of, you're kind of assured that it will work anywhere. iPhone really only works with USDZ. GLB works really well on web. So
Mm,
our platform automatically gives you all the variants and all the versions for the model. Also in different polycount versions, if you go to like a convert compress page, to basically allow you to store, share, and stream. Um, yeah, so for example, the button you clicked over there basically shows you a short link that basically allows everyone to kind of share with WebAR. If you go to
yeah.
the insights page, you're able to monitor um, how your data is being used and how your content
Oh,
is being
this is
streamed and stuff
huge,
like that.
dude. This is huge.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because think about it.
Yeah.
Let's say again, going back to our example, we have a virtual space with different couches. How do we know what is the most popular couch? How do we know what's the most popular product? So you can really monitor everything through Echo automatically and see across time like how your content is doing. Um, and again, it could be anything. It could be videos, it could be
This is
images, it could be 3D
this
models.
inside space is huge. I think actually we're gonna we'll start using Echo as
Yeah,
well.
perfect. Dude,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
perfect. I would love to collaborate. And again, I mean, imagine that you can have these spaces change rapidly. Every time someone goes into Nook Nook, they're getting new content. They're getting a different environment. And also connecting your app to the cloud provides you with kind of a gateway to user-generated content, right? Let's say you have a user, they're creating something, they can upload that to Echo. Suddenly that synchronizes with everyone, and you don't have to do a lot. Like you just connect your app
uh,
with our SDK. If you click the downloads kind of button on the
yeah,
top
I
right,
looked at this. This was nice. You have
so we have like all these
every
integration.
part of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and we have like a bunch of
this
kind
is
of open
huge.
source. And I think for us, like again, that's kind of core to our product and very similar to like in the vision that you had with Rodan about, you know, cross-platform, making sure that it works
Yeah.
everywhere, anytime. And going back to what you said about kind of Amazon Sumerian, we have all these different platforms. If it's Unity and it's Unreal and Amazon Sumerian, Spark AR, I mean, choose your poison. And I think we would just want
I like
developers to
what
be
you
able to
guys
choose
did
anywhere.
though, cause think like with Rodan we tried to do too much like whole environments. Sumerian like made the same mistake. So it's tough to get developers to do like all at once or even just to
Yeah.
have like manage a library like that. So I think it's smart the direction you guys chose just content.
Yeah,
I
I think
that's
again, I mean, I really appreciate the kind of, the, 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 the kind of compliment, but in general, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Like people did the same thing for web
no.
after that for mobile. Like it's obvious that you need to have granulated control and content. One of the things I love saying is how, 10 years ago websites were pretty bad, and then you had stuff like content management and Wix and Squarespace, and you can add images, you can add videos, and suddenly websites become social networks or they become e-commerce websites. Same revolution happened in mobile. You had apps that were really bad, and then you had tools to connect them to the cloud, and suddenly you have ride-hailing apps or dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from web to mobile to now AR, VR, 3D, immersive, call it whatever. And the question kind of needs to be asked: who's going to build that cloud infrastructure for this new type of content? And here we are. That's Echo.
That makes sense. Actually, let's move back there so we can get a better shot for all of us.
Yep. Let me just
Yeah.
jump in to the couch. Perfect. Love it.
This actually makes sense because it's a more natural evolution of because like the question is always looming like what's like the ether of the metaverse gonna look like, right? Like
Yep.
where does like the metaverse reside? And like you have Facebook like trying to build a whole um, kind of like universe of its own, but like what's the ether between Facebook and
I love it. I never
something?
heard it kind of kind of said that way. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, definitely. Kind of the ether of the metaverse is definitely something that we're trying to achieve. Kind of that handling a lot of the kind of invisible stuff. The good thing about our
Mm,
ecosystem is very visual. People are really focusing on the graphics and content, and in our end, there's a lot of kind of invisible stuff that, like you mentioned, kind of the ether of the metaverse that needs to be addressed, right? If it's compression, conversion, streaming, analytics, and these are the things that we do really, really well. So I love it that you said that. Yeah, the ether of the metaverse. Yeah, I'll definitely grab that tagline.
oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That's yeah, that is awesome. Thing when I tried it, Echo to I pushed it. Um, oh, I have more of your dashboard, but we don't need this. Um, I was able to view it like directly from my browser on iOS. So it's running Chrome on iOS. You guys automatically you guys use ARKit for that, or you're doing something else in the
Yeah,
back?
so it really depends. Like we do kind of data mitigation. The minute we kind of recognize what platform you're using, we dynamically send the right content. So it might, if you're using an AirKit or AR Core application, it will send you the right file format. If you're using WebAR, it might leverage Quick Look or just Chrome WebAR. Really, really depends on the platform. But again, from you, it doesn't matter. Like it will just automatically work on any device, and that's kind of the biggest value that you're getting from Echo.
That's beautiful. Um, with you, so you guys do the same thing with Unity. So just push the object there, and then it's constantly talking to your platform on the back end, kind of like a placeholder holder of the object that you have in Unity. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
so exactly. So basically you can, upload content to Echo, for example. Now we have this fox there. Press play in Unity, you have an empty scene. Out of nowhere, that kind of 3D model just like appears out of thin air. And again, it could be 3D models, it could be videos, it could be images. They'll just stream automatically to Unity. And then that means that your Unity build will be super, super small because the assets are not part of the build. And also that you have, again, that control remotely if you want to change something. So you can publish your game to the App Store and then change stuff without going through that development cycle again. And the person who's changing the content doesn't even have to be a techie, right? Like you can be like your
Mm,
social media
mm.
manager. Like we're kind of used to people doing that for images and videos. So that's like a really big thing. And I'll also say about Unity. So Echo is actually a verified solution partner with Unity. Um, we work closely with their team, and I think definitely you're seeing that kind of how users are kind of flocking to game engines. Suddenly you
Yeah.
have a lot of like non-obvious use cases for game engines if it's marketing companies or a lot of companies that, again, you wouldn't kind of imagine that they would use a game engine suddenly need something like Unity or Unreal. So this is a really exciting time to kind of build applications in 3D.
Are you guys using like OpenGL or like parts of WebVR?
Yeah, we have support for that as well. With our API, you basically can kind of stream to anywhere. So if you want to do things for 3JS or OpenGL, like anything goes. Again, as I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, kind of choose your poison. Choose any platform that you want, and then use Echo to kind of stream data there. And we'll just make sure that the data that we stream there will be in the right format and the right compression and the kind of that will basically work with your bandwidth and everything.
What's your take on OpenXR?
Again, I'm a big fan of any attempt to kind of popularize AR and popularize VR and popularize any kind of developer tool to make life easier. I think we're seeing a lot of traction when it comes to users who are using kind of WebAR and WebXR because it's easy. Like you don't have to force.
Mm,
There's kind of this hurdle that if you're building a fully fledged app, you're kind of asking people to download it, and that sometimes is a friction. Um, but in general, I mean, it's pretty limited as opposed to fully fledged apps today or game engines. So there's kind of a way to go until it kind of is fully kind of you can build fully fledged applications. But for now, I think people love it, and that's one of the kind of biggest use cases of for platform that people want to build web applications.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. Think, how do you imagine like let's say like we're in Facebook's universe in like horizons.
Yeah.
Like in the future, how do you imagine going from one universe to another?
So I would imagine that
Like
you'll
moving, sorry,
have these
moving
kind of
away from
multi
like app based. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll have multiple spaces, multiple kind of metaverses inside the metaverse that you can kind of decide to inject yourself. I definitely think that you will have some kind of identity, like some kind of avatar that shares between that, or like you can bring content from one to the other. And that's where, again, like our vision of Echo kind of comes in, because I want you to work in Horizons and then have some 3D asset or create something, and they'll be able to share it somewhere else or take it with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, today it's almost like a given, right? Like I can use a camera and on my phone and then put it on Facebook and then see it on a browser and then share
Mm-hmm.
it on Twitter or something like that. And uh, I mean, we kind of look at content, at least 2D content, as almost ambiguous to platform. Like it comes with me as long as I can kind of share it everywhere. That just works. I think the same will apply to 3D. That I'll have my own 3D content, or I'll interact with 3D content, and I'll be able to kind of take it with me. I'll be able to
Take it
share it.
with
I'll be
you,
able to
yeah.
post it anywhere.
Yeah, kind of like we're seeing like, have you seen the Ready Player Me avatars?
Yeah, definitely. And we actually
Yeah.
integrated we did a really cool integration with them. If you go to our profile page, you'll be able to actually create a Ready Player Me avatar, automatically imported that to Echo, and
Import.
bam, see it in augmented reality. Like super, super easy.
So
So
good.
yeah, they have like a really cool tool for kind of generating avatars. Perfect. Now that you have that avatar, kind of put it on Echo, kind of store it basically. We also kind of again just convert and compress it. It's now that you can kind of stream that avatar everywhere. So they're obviously doing phenomenal work when it comes to content creation. There's a lot of companies like we mentioned that are doing really good work when it comes to kind of game engine and kind of platform building. And we're really trying to connect all of them, like Echo being that glue between content and device or hardware or game
Yeah,
engine.
those are, it's like the invisible threads behind the
Exactly. Yeah,
things
like you
tying
said,
it
the
off.
ether
Yeah.
of the metaverse. I just love that.
Yeah. Think yeah, that's a lot of work you guys did. It's in the beginning, did you have funding, like or you used like Techstars to build?
Yeah, Texas were really kind of the first to invest equity in the company. But again, as I mentioned, we also got grants from Y Combinator and NYC Media Lab and Verizon. So we had a lot of really, really good supporters along the way. But also, again, like our founding team had just, that passion to build and kind of
Yeah.
identify something in the space of 3D. I can share kind of our origin story in a sense, and you kind of briefed about it when you talked about my bio. So when I was at Columbia University and I was all about kind of researching AR, VR, and 3D, I, I mean, me and my co-founders, like, we saw that like every project out there is really cool. It's really amazing, but it's really static. Like a lot of campaigns, even that you see
Yeah.
today, commercial campaigns are one-offs. There's a weekend, there's some
Mhm.
announcement,
Mhm. Mhm.
they're doing some cool project for like advertising, and that's it. No one goes into the experience again. And I get it. It doesn't change. If I go to different experiences at this point, AR, VR, whatever, they look exactly the same. And why? Why not change content remotely tomorrow or the day after that, or based on user location or based on user interaction and stuff like that? And then we realized, okay, we have something for that for video, we have something like that for images. Let's do something for that for 3D content and allow people to easily update content. And then we created Echo, and then it blew up. We have over 12,000 developers on our platform
12,000.
who are
Wow.
building really,
That's
really cool
huge.
applications. Yeah, dude. I mean, it just
Congrats.
shows
That's
like
awesome.
how.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think it just shows, how users are kind of flocking to this technology, how ready they are to adopt 3D content and kind of inject it anywhere. And Echo really kind of allows you to do that really easily.
You, you mentioned before, like letting our users at Knock Knock upload content. So how would that work? We would have basically your API, and
Exactly. So
from
imagine that if I can
from
create
web they can
something.
upload. Ah, okay.
Yep. So exactly, you create something and then you use our upload API, literally just an API call to kind of send that data to the cloud. It will appear as a thumbnail like you see on the console right now, and then automatically you can share it everywhere. Super, super simple. And the point that you can have multiple repositories, you can have multiple kind of sets of data, you can have it per user, per room, per app, anything goes.
I love that. We'll give it a try.
Let's do
We'll
it,
see
man.
how it
Yeah,
goes.
love it, love it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
yeah,
this again, and
yeah,
instead of the interview, we'll do like a code session and VR. That could be
yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
cool.
Hell yeah. And like team would love it too. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, Man, exciting. I'm so happy to have you here. Like I'm having so much like fun
Thank you. Yeah,
just
I'm
talking
having
about
so much
this.
fun.
Yeah.
This is so real. I'm so happy. So kind of that you invited me because this is again phenomenal. First of all, you guys they did phenomenal work on the space and the app. Amazing, amazing, amazing work. Um, also how perfect this
Thank
is
you.
for kind of interviews. Like you're putting all the graphics. It's like I mean, again, like you can't see my actual face. It's like I'm almost like tearing up. This is like phenomenal.
Hey, Esti is the brains behind the design.
Good work,
Uh,
Esty. Good work.
yeah. She's from Hungary. Right now, I'm in Armenia, and
Wow. And
you're
I'm
in
in
New
New
York.
York.
Like
Wow. Okay,
I
so
love this, man. Yeah,
I,
because everyone's
I'm
from.
obsessed with this. I love it. I love it. Dude, this is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, this is why AR and VR is so magical because we
Yeah,
can literally be teleported and feel like fully immersed and fully together. And we're literally in like, different
yeah,
places in the
yeah.
world. It's really
It's
amazing, amazing experience.
Yeah, and we built this like without ever meeting each other. So I've never
No
met
way.
any of the like I my co-founder. I've known him, like we were friends, but he's in SF. Like we're the only two people that met.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow, wow,
so
wow. That's amazing. What a phenomenal kind of, founder story in a sense. Um, again, it just shows how
it's
different
the
the world
magic
is
of
and
it.
how
Yeah,
kind of more
yeah,
connected it is through technology as opposed to disconnected. It's really unbelievable. I mean, wow, 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 wow. Good work, you guys. Like building this
a
remotely. Wow.
a. How big is your team, Alon?
We're five based in New York, but now since we kind of raised funding,
Yeah.
we're fully focused on like hiring and growing the team and getting them a lot of more full-time members. We did have a lot of kind of part-time kind of team members from Columbia and CUNY and NYU. That kind of goes back on to kind of why I built a company in New York. You have a lot of really kind of high human capital that are coming
Mm,
from all these
mm.
kind of Ivy League university and top universities, so that also really, really helped our company grow, that we can always have interns from like really high-end institutions and working on amazing AR VR labs there. People who are uh, experts in 3D graphics or computer graphics or just cloud infrastructure in general. So that really helped the company as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, Colombia is huge on that. Like they had this, especially like human computer interaction,
Yep.
and you guys do a lot of good work there. Like
Yeah, there are labs there that
very
would I just like mind blowing the research that people are doing there. It's really, really phenomenal. Again, you mentioned in my bio, my thesis was augmented reality for surgeries. So we literally took CT and MRI scans,
Yeah.
converted them
What did
into
you do there?
3D. It
Like,
was unbelievable. It was like we took CT and MRI scans, converted them to 3D, put them on the HoloLens, the Microsoft kind of AR headset,
oh yeah.
and then a physician would able to see the patient's heart floating above them during surgery. It was an amazing
Oh
experience. I got personally to scrub into over 10 surgeries, and it was just an insane experience. Like I was a
wow.
student. I was born in Israel. I moved here, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm just scrubbing into surgery. There's a patient on the table, and they use my tech to basically the tech that I built
That's
to
insane.
basically drill into the patient. It was like unbelievable. And again, like
That's insane.
such a kind of cool use case for, AR in the OR, to kind of enhance how physicians are doing surgery. And it seemed so natural suddenly to inject 3D content in that environment. So that
Mm,
just
mm. I
added
like the way you're
to
saying it.
my
Yeah.
I think it just added to my conviction in the world of kind of AR, VR, and 3D content. Like, look, we have this surgery, it's a complicated experience, and then suddenly you can have AR or 3D and it becomes so much easier and becomes so much better. Um, the problem there was that while I was having fun going to kind of scrubbing into surgery, I was also had to kind of like do something I really hate, and that's waking up really early in the morning. I had to be at the hospital like 6 a.m. every day. And I was like, why am I here? Like, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Why is an engineer needed in every surgery? And the reason that I was there is because I needed to switch a heart to an aorta to a lung and like just replace all these 3D
uh,
models. And if I had something like
this is where
Echo,
Echo would have been. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Echo was born in the
100%.
operating room like every other baby.
Yeah.
It
Ah,
was
that's
literally
beautiful.
no, but like it was really like it was really intense. Like, why am I here in a sense? Like, there's so many professionals here. Anyone here can drag and drop a 3D model. Anyone here can drag and drop like a new heart, and that should change in the app. Like, why do you need to kind of have a developer on board to kind of facilitate this kind of new way, and new tech? And it's like you don't. have something like Echo, and then just bring that in. So that really was the kind of inception story. Um, and yeah, I never said that way. Like that, it was like Echo was born in
That
a
is
OR.
that's a
That's
like
cool.
innate inception.
Yeah. And I think again, just like kind of ties into and very similar to like what you said. It's kind of when you're talking about startups and you see that in Techstars all the time, that kind of founder market fit and having a personal problem that you're trying to tackle really
Hmm.
helps. Really helps you grow and really helps you kind of streamline the message
Yeah.
of what you're trying to achieve.
What are your like a little tangent hard on hardware? Like what are your thoughts on neural interfacing?
Yeah. Um, I'm a big believer. Like jack me into the matrix. I'm fully on board. When Elon Musk does the Neuralink, I'll sign me up. Um, I think it's inevitable. I think people are trying to figure out new ways of interaction. Like you mentioned, kind of HCI, human computer interaction, is a big field of interaction. Why not have neural interfaces? A lot of the things that we're trying to do right now in VR are really kind of telekinetic and like trying to move stuff and like
Yeah.
why not interact with like just new inputs? Um, yeah, I mean, the more the better. Again, the more research you have around these things, the more consumer apps, the more consumer hardware, the better. Another company based in New York, Control Labs, was bought by Google, and they
Dude,
did
I love
kind of
Control Labs, and I love
yeah.
their founder Reardon.
Hmm.
So awesome.
Yeah, but here's another cool example of a company that had an amazing vision. Now they're part of Facebook, and we both kind of can see that how that tech can really integrate well with Facebook's metaverse, like with Horizons, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of
Mm-hmm.
interact with, like instead of controllers, you'll have a band or something like that. I mean, perfect. I think
That's
a lot of the things are really kind of exploratory, and we're really trying to find the best interaction for this space.
yeah, yeah. I think like during Rodan, what I realized is like the problem of like creating a new paradigm of VR AR
Yeah,
really is very deep. It like when we were trying to like co create worlds using
yeah,
JavaScript on a flat monitor using keyboards and
yeah,
letters, um, it's it seems archaic. Like it's
yeah.
like
Yeah, it just
I
doesn't
think the
fit. It just doesn't fit. It's like
no,
eating again. It's eating soup with a fork. It's just not the
yeah.
interaction that you have. It's not the tool that you need. It just doesn't fit, and you feel that, and that's again the magical thing that you mentioned. I love that you said kind of like you use the word magic because
It is magic.
yeah, it is magic.
Yeah.
It's 100% that, and I also think again it's just like it's so native to our to kind of to users. So after I got the Oculus Quest, I kind of I let my parents try it out. And my parents are kind of
Hmm.
a different generation, obviously. They were born in the Soviet Union. Um, and I never imagined
Me
that.
too. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So like you probably get
Yeah.
it. Russian or kind of USSR parents are probably very similar. And kind of when my mom tried the Oculus Quest, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe I would never imagine that I would fight aliens in my living room and would love it. I will like want to play more. And I was like, right. Like it's so non-obvious that older generations will want to adopt this technology,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's so intuitive for them as well, which means again, there's suddenly a kind of product market fit for VR headsets. There's kind of consumer readiness. And again, if my mom, who was born in the USSR, can literally use an Oculus Quest, and I can do that, and like a small child can, perfect. Like perfect. That means like there's suddenly that tool that we've been looking for, maybe in the days of Rodin, to have, a really kind of big consumer adoption.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to move away from like keyboards and letters themselves, like even
Yeah.
words. Um, like, what do you think of having like a kind of like a new alphabet for VR, or
I mean, I love
like
it. I think
that's like
again, I'm a big believer in,
based on
in
your like
innovation.
neural output? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, in a sense, it's already happening, right? Our generation, I actually mentioned that in different podcasts. Like our generation doesn't call, they text, right? And the generation
Mm-hmm.
after us doesn't text, they FaceTime, or like they basically use the camera. So,
Yeah.
like you mentioned. the kind of the alphabet. I mean, it's weird to say, but like kind of the using the alphabet kind of in some sense almost becomes
It's
redundant because we have
old.
like all these,
Yeah.
yeah, we have all these different like using language, using video instead, and people are doing it all the time. Again, younger generations are fully immersed in camera first applications. They're using TikTok, they're using Snapchat, they're not using the kind of or like they're graduating out from Twitter and Facebook. These are kind of text based applications. So I think you're 100% right. At some point, it's not like we're gonna kind of give up letters or something. I was just like it would just become redundant. We're just not using this anymore.
Yeah.
We're using highly visual stuff. Today, if you think of any company logo, you can literally remove the name or the letters, and you'll still know what the company is and what they do.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and you'll find hours and hours of like again voice and video content about that. So um, yeah, at some point I think it just again if
yeah.
we're fully immersed in this environment, maybe just writing isn't again it's
Yeah.
like a fork in a soup. Like writing is probably just not part of this kind of interaction.
Yeah. I think we need like a kind of like an living like alchemical symbols or like living like hieroglyphs
Mhm.
that contains like state of the function, contains content, and is somehow like using blockchain to associate with other living states, I guess.
Yeah, so
And then
blockchain, I
we,
love it that you said that. Yeah.
yeah, and then maybe we can like map it to like using like a device like Control Labs wristband. Like I'm a big believer in that as like I love what Musk is doing with Neuralink, but it's
Yeah.
too invasive. I think like just
First of all, that we're talking about this, right? Like you're kind of just
yeah.
throwing out the proposition of like, how would the world look like without letters? How would the world look like that we're all fully immersed in 3D? These are great conversations to have. Like you have to kind of visualize this. I think a lot of the people who are kind of look at technology or look at Neuralink and look at all these investments in HCI, they feel kind of really timid and they're like trying to push back and they're like, no, just use that as a thought experiment. How will the future look like? Even if you're like you mentioned, maybe this is too invasive. I mean, maybe that's true, but like we need to go through that thought experiment
Mm,
to kind of figure out, yeah, maybe it is too invasive. I mean, even now, like it took like that's the evolution of having like a mouse on a computer. Like look back at the research that people did. Like, what is the best interaction to interact with the screen? Before the mouse, you had like two dials, and people were trying to kind of figure out like
yeah.
the X and Y axis. Like the same thing needs to happen here. We started out with controllers. Now the Oculus Quest has support for hand tracking. You don't even have to have controls. Maybe that's better. I mean, again, we need to go through that evolution to kind of figure out what's the best thing. And I love
Mm,
that you mentioned
mm-hmm.
kind of blockchain and I think NFTs as well. It's kind of a good buzzword to throw in. We have a bunch of kind of people, new clients who basically used Echo as their backbone for an NFT marketplace. Like they built an NFT marketplace and then
Oh.
they sell digital content and use Echo to kind of stream it and visualize that and share it with people. And it's like, oh my God, like who would imagine even 3 years ago that that would be a thing, that like 3D e-commerce, which is basically NFTs, will be so prevalent. And that we had one
Mm.
user, shout out to him
That,
based in
that's
LA.
that's 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 crazy actually. That's a
Yeah,
really good
yeah.
use
He
case.
he
That's
he
interesting.
basically
Yeah.
used our tech. He did like 8 drops, all sold out. The one he did with AR that were powered by Echo sold it for like in like 30 minutes. Everything was sold out, and it's like amazing. Like suddenly you have a tool that helps e-commerce again to just evolve. And if it's again if you add blockchain on top of that to kind of work around the transactions, this is perfect. Again, I'm a big believer in technology, a big believer in the evolution of content, and I think the thing that you and I are talking about again, these are so important as a conversation just to have to just kind of brainstorm
Mm-hmm.
the ideas. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love it that you mentioned like the fact about letters because people will say, "What are you talking about? Like, how can we transition out of like written language?" And it's like, I don't know, like just
Yeah.
you don't have to accept the proposition, but just like think it
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. I can't imagine it myself because it doesn't exist yet. But I
Yeah.
know it has to go there. Like it
Yeah, but that's where
and
you're a
I
founder,
love
because
what
you are thinking of obviously you can't imagine the things, you were limited only by imagination in a sense. So you're thinking
mm,
about the things that don't exist. Perfect. Like that what's make you a founder, right? Because you want to create that something that doesn't exist.
I love what you said too. Like that, it's like even as a thought experiment, it just um it makes your mine or like
Yeah.
someone else's imagination that you're just to leap, and it's
Yeah.
leaps that um
Yeah.
create. Yeah,
This reminds me back at Techstars, this the first 2 weeks are mentor madness. You talk to so many mentors in the beginning,
yeah,
and they kind of try to help you out. And one of the mentors that we had at Techstars was a banker, and I was like, okay, this is probably not going to be a relevant conversation. There's no way it's going to be relevant.
yeah.
And I was like, but okay, we have like 20 minutes. Let's talk. Let's try to figure it out. And we're talking, and then I was asking him, and I think I mentioned that in a different policy, but like, what is the most pressing issue that you have in the world of banking? And then he said that you have all these mobile banking apps, and they all look exactly the same. So younger generations have no kind of inclination to download this app or join Chase or join Bank of America. Like everything is the same. And then I said, you know what? What if, because a lot of banks are kind of closing down, a lot of like have branches and like physical stores,
Yeah.
and it was like, what if you can kind of open the bank app, swipe left, suddenly you have a camera, and then you can spawn a virtual ATM, and you can interact with that virtual ATM and do
Oh.
transactions. And it's like, oh my god, exactly. He had the same reaction. I love it. I love it. And suddenly you're like, oh my god, this is a freaking amazing idea for banking in AR or 3D. And suddenly banking
Oh.
becomes as a use case. And like, you see, it started out with like something unimaginable.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't need it.
Yeah.
Why should a bank need 3D? And then you just brainstorm literally like a 5 minute conversation. You just talk to people, and then like, oh my god, there's this billion-dollar idea. So
That's awesome.
I'm a big believer in that. We need to have those conversations. We need to, I think the same way, and we talked about it earlier, about uh, apps and websites. And the same way, it's so non-obvious. Like, what do you need a website for? But now everyone understands that you need it for a
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
network
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
e-commerce. Same thing happened with mobile apps. Who needs a mobile app? And now Lady Gaga has an app. So same thing with 3D.
Yeah.
It's non-obvious how to use it. Let's talk this through. Let's kind of brainstorm idea. Let's kind of just accept some propositions, try to kind of figure that out. And then you can have amazing ideas in such non-obvious use cases like even banking. Um, so I'm
That's
just a big believer in that. And the more people you talk to, even outside your space, right, that they're not specifically in AR3, it's really mind blowing.
yeah. I think that's the best. Like bringing tying together like
Yep.
non-tieable um ideas. Like
Yeah.
even when like iPhone came, right? Like before that we had like mobile phones were basically laptops crammed into your
Yeah.
pocket. Like even like the keyboard, right? Like it is magic in a very pure sense, because it's like a bunch of like singularities turning in like
Yeah, and
becoming
when you
opposite of
take
black
the
holes.
Oculus off, yeah, and I think you're
Yeah,
100% right. And also, I mean, you feel it, you really feel it when you take the Oculus Quest off and you feel that you kind of teleport out, like you jack out of the
yeah,
Matrix. You have this visceral kind of unexplainable feeling. That again, it kind of ties into what you're saying. Like it's kind of the part of the magic. It's part of it's really really part of it, and I think that's why kind of our space is inevitable, in the sense of like everyone will use it because you just need that feeling once, and once you
yeah.
get it, it's just magical.
Do you think the universe is logical?
Um, that's a big question. I don't know. Probably not. I think there is logic in the universe, and there's order, but there's definitely a lot of chaos, and it just kind of a weird balance. Um, I think for us, it's just to kind of find that logic. Again, when we say, I don't know, that touch interactions are the best for phones. That's a logic that we had to kind of go through, right? Like we had to kind of learn and kind of get to that. And it's almost like we never peak, right? Because like maybe there's something better
Mm,
than touch. We just can't imagine it at this point.
yeah,
Maybe neural networks, right? Neural interfaces, sorry. Um, so I think it's kind of a constant evolution of like we're trying to become better. We're trying to kind of find the next step. Um, and this is really cool. Like this is really cool if you think about it. The more and more people working all around the world to build just amazing stuff. Like this is such a good time to be a founder. It's such a good time to be a
yeah,
creator, because there's so many things that you can create, and now there's so much kind of innovation in content and NFTs and in AR and VR and all these kind of buzzwords that you see. It's like these are huge sectors that in the beginning started as non-obvious, and after that they just became inevitable. AI started that. Like it had the same thing. People looked at AI like it's a buzzword, and now it's like literally
Mm-hmm.
every company
Mm-hmm.
has to have some AI component, and people understand it more than anything. Um, so yeah, I'm a big believer in that, and maybe that ties into kind of the logic of the universe.
Yeah, I think what you said in the beginning sparked the thought. Like it,
Spark the Big Bang
m-
in your
yeah,
mind.
yes, in my mind came from yours. Maybe it becomes logic once we start consciously making it.
Yeah,
Before that, it's probably not.
yeah,
Even like I can't describe it because my description involves logic. Like my words are logical.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but again, think about how insane like a lot of things. There's actually like because that's why I value these kind of thought experiences. That's why I kind of value conversations because you can get like you need to kind of flesh out
Yeah.
these ideas. You need to figure out like you need to
100%.
actually figure out how to talk about like we're talking about like human computer interaction of like things that don't exist, and it's like we're trying to figure out how in the metaverse and once you have all these kind of metaverses, what will be the best way to migrate content like okay, like these are huge questions. We need to kind of just talk through them. And again, it can start with like small conversations, like I mentioned, the one with the banker, that you're trying to kind of just
Mm-hmm.
find out like
Mm-hmm.
what's your biggest issue and how we can use 3D content to solve it. And that kind of interdisciplinary kind of conversation and approach,
Does
I think, is really important.
Yeah, yeah. I think it has like a Carl Jung. He has a good
Hmm.
good quote. He says like anything unconscious wants to become conscious.
Oh
So
wow,
like as founders, I think that's what we're doing. Is we're like with utter sheer of force, just bringing those things
love it,
to consciousness.
love
On
it, love
that
it, love
thought,
it.
what's your favorite book?
Favorite book. So I the obvious answer is kind of Ready Player One. I love that. That felt
Yeah,
like really an amazing book. That was pretty recent. Um, there's a bunch. I think again I'll use the just the kind of obvious answer of like things like Ready Player One because I think they evangelize our space really well. Even when the movie came out and stuff like that. Um, I think this is kind of a perfect way for people to really be part of our ecosystem, really understand the vision, and also kind of we talked about like Harry Potter and stuff like that. Like, for
yeah.
us, I mean, obviously Harry Potter is also an amazing book and like part of my kind of identity and childhood, but these exactly are kind of the experience that we're kind of reading through and we want to bring it to life. Like this is some kind of idea written paper that maybe again in the future we just don't have letters and we need to figure out what's a book in the world with no letters or like a book with no languages. So
Yeah,
that's also something that we should kind of maybe in a different
I think
podcast
so too
we'll
because
explore further.
that's like something that need, needs a lot of like thought.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I definitely love those books, and I think again they are a gateway at this point to your imagination. And you're kind of literally when you're reading a book, you're kind of teleported. Your
Mm-hmm.
consciousness is
Mm-hmm.
kind of teleported to a different place, and you're trying to kind of imagine all these things. And now we have a kind of a stronger medium. We have like AR VR. Now we have tools to help your imagination right now I don't need to imagine that you and I are in the room. We're literally
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
virtual room together. So now kind of our cognitive kind of limits are pushed because now I'm already here. Like I don't need to imagine that. Now I can kind of I have more bandwidth to imagine other things. Like what else? What's the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
Mm-hmm.
kind of again just kind of our evolution of like cognitively and societally how we can kind of move forward. I think this is phenomenal.
Yeah, the aggregation of it makes the like the output pouring much grander.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some
Yeah, I mean,
some
we
good
see it
advice there.
even in all these, like right now, we see it in creative arts. We're seeing stuff like The Mandalorian. It's a show that uses a game engine to generate environments in real time, and you can kind of spawn at all these episodes. It's amazing. Like if you see behind the scenes in The Mandalorian and how they use kind of the Unreal game engine
Yeah.
and kind of these
Oh,
projection VR,
oh, they used
it's
Unreal,
really
right? Like,
unbelievable.
'cause they
Yeah.
have like a department where, or like a group that concentrates on like real, like photorealistic
Exactly.
scene
And they have
creation,
these
right?
kind of huge plasma screens, like LED screens actually, that basically project environments. So a lot of the things that you're seeing are just like almost like real captures. Like it's not like they're doing a green screen and they adding stuff. It's just like there with them. So here's a tool that kind of revolutionized the world of filmmaking. And like we and I are doing right now, here's a tool that revolutionized the
Mm.
world of podcasting. And like everything is kind of tries to kind of inch its way into some kind of singularity, some kind of like big kind of better way to interact, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Yay, dude, I love having you here. Let's take a picture here.
Oh, yeah. Let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
turn.
There, okay. All right.
Perfect, dude. I love this so much. This
Awesome.
is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is so
And
much cool.
then, yeah, this was awesome, dude.
Thank you so much for the invite. I really, really appreciate it. You did phenomenal work with your application. It's like unbelievable. Really seeing like all the company logos and like my picture over there and the Techstars logo, just really kind of it really makes me emotional. This is phenomenal. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for the invite.
I love the work you guys are doing. It's like coming from someone that's passed through that, like it's super important
Yeah,
what you guys are doing. It's not, you're not just building a company to create a business. Like it's something really, really, really
yeah,
needed. Like
yeah.
so thank you.
Thank you so much, man. I
Awesome.
really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the invite, and thank you,
Thank you.
Esty, for kind of helping out with everything.
Thank you,
You guys are the
SD.
best.
Yay.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Awesome.
Bye for now.
Okay, Alon, that was awesome. I'll connect with you. I'll see you later then.
Love it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
please.
right.
And let's do that tech sesh together and brainstorm, and happy to
Yeah,
jump into this
I would
space
love
anytime.
that. Yeah, because I have some
D-
ideas that I would love your
Yeah,
perspective
so
on
let's
it.
do it. Let's do it, dude. I'm happy to jump into VR anytime, jump on Zoom anytime. I love it. And thank you so much for the invite. This was
Okay.
so much fun. Bye for
Thank
now.
you too. Loved it. Okay. Bye. Bye, SD.
Bye, Steve. Thank you.